In my D&D Curse of Strahd campaign so far, the town of Vallaki is being run by an aloof Baron Valakovich, who demands happiness at all times and mandatory parties every week. Underneath him is a creepy leader, Izak, who has a demonic arm he uses to cast spells from. We've been keeping an eye on Irina, who Strahd von Zarovich is trying to capture. We managed to get her to Vallaki, where she's supposedly going to be safe, promising to her brother to keep an eye on her. In the last game, the players all get captured and taken to the Baron when they're discovered to be selling dream pastries on behalf of the hags that are filled with children. Now, I wasn't actually there for the next session, so I just have to summarize from what the other players told me. But according to them, they were taken before the Baron, who was actually really happy with us. You see, the pastries we'd been handing out make people oblivious and send them sweet dreams. Once the Baron gets wind of this, he says, "That's wonderful. Pastries that make you happy? Please, we must get more at once." So now he's demanded to buy more from us. They still don't know what's in the pastries and don't want to know. And if they did ever find out that they were kids, we probably would be hung. So, we still haven't figured out exactly how we're going to solve that. Since we're still in debt to him for not throwing us in jail, the Baron sends the group out on a mission. He doesn't have any wine for the feast that he's holding. For some reason, the winery didn't send them their shipment. He needs us to go there and pick it up. So the group sets out on the mission for him, but we're forced to keep Irina there at his home. After that, the group also speaks with knights, who are part of the Order of the Silver Dragon in Argynvostholt, who are all revenants. Revenants are a type of undead that perished from murder or for some unjust reason and have been returned in order to fulfill a purpose. They fight, and they die, and they fight again and again until their task is complete. However, since Barovia became trapped by the mist and Strahd is immortal, they are stuck here in their curse, becoming more and more bitter as time wears on. Normally, revenants only last for a year, but because of the magic of Barovia, they have persisted longer, for hundreds of years. They want to recover the remains of the silver dragon Argynvost and end their immortal quest, but have failed for so long that they remain in Argynvostholt. When the group arrives at the winery, it's overrun with twig blights and cursed plants. The party destroys them. They speak with the owner of the winery, Davian Mardukov, to figure out what's going on. The twig blights were sent from the druids of Yester Hill. In Barovia, it's difficult to grow food, so this winery relies on these magic stones. They would bury them in the ground, it would bless their fields, and let them grow a vineyard. They used to have 3, but one was stolen hundreds of years ago and lost to time. Another has been stolen decades ago by the Witches of the Woods, and the last got stolen recently by the druids of Yester Hill. So now, they can't grow anything.
"These people are so bad at being careful with these things,"
Gouda said.
"They got stolen from 3 times. They lost all 3 stones. How does that even happen?"
Our new mission is to chase down who stole one of them and get it back. Finally, the new session starts and I catch up with the party, noticing that there are 2 new members to the group. First is a raven, Muriel, sitting on Gouda's shoulder.
"She helped us out in the fight with the twig blights."
Gouda keeps pulling out food and little snacks from her pack, trying to overfeed Muriel. Our second new companion is a woman. Her name's Esmeralda.
"I am a Vistani. I'm here to help."
The group explains to me that she was trained under the famed vampire hunter Van Richten and is quite capable. She wants to defeat Strahd and heal the land as much as we do. She's also our destined ally. Hooray! We meet up at the Blue Water Inn. While we're there, someone comes to us.
"Excuse me, Garo. I'm a servant of Fiona Watcher. We'd like to have a word with your group if that is acceptable."
Yeah, sure, we got some time. The group go over to her estate. She welcomes us in. Fiona sits us down in this nice, clean, well-kept living room.
"You've been causing a lot of talk around town. They say you're very capable."
Who's saying that? I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but we're on a 50-50 win-loss rate right now.
"I hear that you're going after the bones of St. Andrel, are you?"
Fiona was right. The church used to have these sacred bones that protected and kept the grounds hallowed, but now the bones had been stolen. Well, I explained we were, but that turned up to be a cold case. Now, there's no way to know where it ended up.
"Well, conveniently, the exchange actually happened very close to our home," Fiona explained. "I was a little worried, so I had my servant tail him, and we figured out now who has the bones. We're willing to tell you where they are."
Great. Where are they? She smiles.
"Well, we were interested in seeing if you could give us a little favor in exchange."
I knew this was coming. I can't make any promises, But what did you have in mind?
This might seem a little odd, but, how do you feel about the Baron?
He's kind of weird, we say. He's trying to force people to be happy to keep out Strahd. I clasp my hand to my mouth, remembering it's illegal to say Strahd's name.
Don't worry. We're private here. You can say whatever you want. But you're right. He's terrible. He's so ignorant. Everyone hates him. He's put to death so many of people's families, relatives, friends.
She gets up, looks out the window to the people wandering the streets, going about their business.
Frustration with him is palpable. Everyone's at their breaking point.
Fiona turns back to us.
The only thing really keeping him in power is Ezek, his head guard. The one with the fiendish arm? If he was out of the picture, so to speak, his entire grasp on the town would collapse.
Gouda piped up.
Grasp on the town, 'cause, he's got a magic arm.
You're hiring us to murder the head of the guards.
Indeed,
She said.
Without him, the Baron Vlakovich would be forced to give up his seat. Really, I think the people need someone else in charge. Someone who wants to make sure that the place is safe and really understands the problems.
Someone like you, perhaps? She nodded.
Well, that's part of it, but that's not the only reason I want to do it. There's something else I want to show you.
Fiona took us upstairs to her daughter's room. As we enter, her daughter is on the bed. She sees us and hisses, hiss, leaping off of the bed and onto the ground on all fours. She's behaving more like an animal.
This is my daughter, Stella. And as you can see, she's not well.
Gouda cautiously approaches the girl. Stella goes,
Meow. Meow.
looking around. She tries to crawl up the wall, but slips and falls onto her back, scurrying under the bed.
Meow. Meow.
Fiona sighs, rubbing her temples.
She's been acting like a cat ever since she got back.
Got back from what exactly?
There was an arranged marriage between her and the Baron's son, Victor. They were together for a short while, and then she came back to me like this.
Stella's head pokes out from under the bed.
Meow. Meow.
I've seen anime before. I know where this is going.
I need to find out what happened to my daughter.
Fiona closed the door to Stella's room.
People have been suffering for far too long. It's time to end it. And I need your help to do it. If you manage to kill Ezek tonight, then during the festival tomorrow, I can make a speech to the people, rouse them from the slumber, and reclaim the city. Also, as a show of good faith, the bones you are looking for, Garo, they're at Hendrick's coffin maker's shop.
Fiona said,
He's the one who stole them. Now will you help me?
We'll think about it. We got quite a lot on our plate. Besides, Ezek's gonna be hard to take down. He's the head of the guards.
Not exactly,
She said.
We've been watching the guards night after night. He goes on patrol with just a few others. We can ask and figure out where he's going to be tonight.
All right. That sounds doable, I say.
Come back tonight, and we can coordinate the work.
She says.
If everything goes as planned, we can reclaim the city out from under him for the people.
Sure. We can come back tonight. We'll talk some more. I make a joke of opening up this massive file folder with entries that say, missing children, missing relics, creepy stuff we gotta investigate. I fill out the form and file it under, people we need to murder, next to the hags in Strahd. The group was shown out to the door. But just before leaving, Boshack dropped his imp familiar, Femur, and had it follow Fiona. While the group exited the house, Boshack used his familiar to spy on Fiona, who went to the master bedroom. Inside, they see a man in the bed.
Are you sleeping well, my love?
She said. Even from here, you can tell that the man in the bed, her husband, is dead. His face is pale, eyes wide open, and he's not breathing. Fiona kisses his forehead and casts gentle repose on him. What's gentle repose do? It prevents the body from decaying. It also means that the body can be resurrected later. Most raise dead spells that the target has to be dead no more than 1 day, but with gentle repose, it keeps the body from decaying for a week and means that you can use a raise dead spell on it later than normal. So, either she's keeping her husband's body as like some kind of weird keepsake of his memory, or maybe she thinks that one day she's going to find someone with a raise dead spell to bring him back? I don't know. The group talks about the situation and can't come to a conclusion. Anyway, this entire predicament is pretty messed up. Here's this woman. She wants us to help her take over the city. We don't like the Baron. He's fucking people over left and right. Well, he's more of just kind of ignorant. We haven't actually seen him do anything really horrible. He just wants to live it up. Then this woman comes in. She's a wild card. She claims to want what's best for people. I know this is going to sound crazy, but we might not want to help her. Also, what sucks is she held up her end of the bargain. We might say, hey, you did this thing for us, but we can't do this thing because it's bad, but could we get a rain check? Like, we cool, right? And let's say we do put her into power. What do you think the odds are that there are 2 Hitlers in this city? Like, oh, thank you so much for getting rid of the old evil ruler of this town. Now it's time to institute my even more evil reign of terror. Ha ha ha. That last guy was just too much of a softie. Ultimately, the group decides that we can't do anything right now, not until we know enough information. Besides, we still have another mission on the table to deal with, the stolen stone. We decided to ignore this mission until tonight to recover the stone back for the Wizard of the Wines. We traveled out to the location it was stolen, Yester Hill. We arrived at a set of burial mounds, with cairns marking the bodies. As we're coming up, we see the ghostly image of a city through the mists, which is strange as you normally can't see through the dense fog. My cleric is making hand signs, offering up a prayer to the Morning Lord, saying, "We are walking on holy ground. We need to be respectful here." Boshack starts smelling the graves.
Do you think the bodies are still around?
Boshack, I know what you're thinking. Don't.
I could just sample some of the bones. After all, there's so many here, and they aren't using them currently. They would be very tasty.
No, bad Boshack. This place is definitely haunted. Do you want a bunch of old ghosts flying up your asshole, stabbing you from the inside? Because that's what you're going to get. Because you're going to get asshole stabbing ghosts. I'm a cleric. I've seen it more times than I can count.
He starts hanging back, thinking which one he'd like to sample from. We explore the ruins and find a set of cultists doing this ritual. There's a massive wooden statue in the center of the circle. The statue has a stone glowing with light, lodged in its chest. What are the odds that that's the stone we're looking for? Garo steps forward, revealing himself. The druids don't pay any attention to you. Hello, guys, what's up? Garo here. I'm a cleric of the Morning Lord. I'm just kind of coming out here, just sort of exploring, looking around. Really weird, but we are looking for a stone, and I'm just here to ask, sorry to bother you, but that stone right up there may in fact be our stone that we're looking for. So I don't suppose we could just have it and be on our way? One of the cultists turns around and faces Garo.
Hello, Garo.
She lowers her hood. You see a black-haired woman. When her mouth opens up, a set of fangs protruding out.
The other bride told me about you.
Oh, great. Another one of Strahd's brides.
Valenta.
She introduces herself.
I don't think we can fight her. So unless she wants to give up the stone voluntarily, I don't think there's anything we can do.
She chuckled.
Oh, I have no intention of fighting you,
she said. You notice the wooden statue starts moving.
But my friend is a different story.
A fight suddenly breaks out between the group and the wooden statue. The other cultists had left the fight to us. Gouda was being difficult in this battle. We asked, do you think this monster is a relative of the twig blights we fought earlier?
Seems like they're all part of the same family tree.
I get bitten and picked up in its mouth.
Ah! Garo, is his bark worse than his bite? You're killing me with these puns,
I say.
More like I'm the one that's killing it.
Krusk takes out his sword and tries to hack at it, but it keeps failing.
Guess you could say it just didn't cut it.
I manage to escape and try to flee.
Guess you have to leaf on out of there.
But the thing rushed over to me. It tried to take me down.
Seems like it's pining for you.
No matter what we did, it just seemed to keep regrowing. We had to rip the stone out and finally end it. The thing staggered back and forth before collapsing to the ground, dead at our feet.
Looks like you guys got to the root of the problem.
Gouda!
This wasn't how it was supposed to be,
Valenta said, having a little tantrum.
You broke my statue.
She approached us.
Is she gonna kill us? We can't fucking fight her.
But just before she attacks us, a voice rings out saying,
Valenta, what did I say?
She becomes pale-faced and wide-eyed.
Strahd,
She says,
I am disappointed in you. Valenta, what did I say?
the voice we now recognize as Strahd von Zarovich.
but they broke my statue.
I don't want to hear that.
Strahd says. We can't tell where he is. His voice rings out across the area. Fine, she says, turning into a cloud of mist and disappearing into the fog.
Apologies for her disrespect.
He said. A letter floats in front of us. I grab it. We are left alone in the burial cairns with the stone. The letter reads,
My friends, know that it is I who brought you to this land, my home, and know that I alone can release you from it. I bid you dine at my castle so that we can meet in more civilized surroundings. Your passage here will be a safe one. I await your arrival. Your host, Strahd von Zarovich.
Okay, so do you think we should take him up on the offer? What good'll it do, though? Best case scenario, we go to this house, we say, hey, Strahd, stop being evil. And he says, okay, yeah, cool. Right, I've been a total dick for hundreds of years. Yeah, sure, knock it off. And maybe we totally resolve it. Worst case, we die.
No, he won't.
Esmeralda, our NPC help, said,
Strahd always knows to keep his promises. He does many horrible and monstrous things, but it is not in his nature to lie. If he wanted to kill us, he has many other ways to do it.
So, you're thinking this is an honest invite?
Yes.
Either way, I really don't think we're going to talk him out of anything, and he's not going to talk us over to his side. I shake my head back and forth. But maybe we could get some info. Figure out what he's up to. Maybe head him off. It makes me realize we still don't technically know what he's trying to accomplish. We know he's after Irina, but we don't exactly know what he wants with her. But then we realize something else. We still can't go even if we wanted to because we're busy. We have an assassination. We got the festival coming up tomorrow. We can't make it even if we wanted to. And then we realize something else. Actually, looking at this letter, he didn't give us a time limit. Meaning we could resolve this festival Fiona thing and then talk with Strahd. Besides, if we go there and get caught up in something, that's gonna suck. We need that time. We decide to make it back to Vallaki, finish the conflict, whatever it is, and then take Strahd up on his invite. We head back to town to the Baron Vlakovich's house to pick up Irina, who is still prisoner there. The Baron thanks us for our work and services, getting the winery working again. Now, with the stone, they can use it to grow grapes and make alcohol. As we go around talking to people, everyone is excitedly hurrying about, getting preparations for the wedding tomorrow. There's a wedding tomorrow? Whose wedding? A servant stops.
Why, Irina's.
What?
Oh, yes, this servant says. The Baron's been in a wonderful mood. He's been telling everyone about it. He wants the preparations done as soon as possible.
We go to Irina's quarters. What's going on? Have you heard?
Yes, Irina says. They didn't ask my permission. He just started telling everyone that I'm going to be marrying him, and when I protested, he just laughed it off and ignored it.
Maybe this has something to do with his son, Victor? We go upstairs to the attic to speak with the Baron's son. On his door is a skull, and the phrase, all is not well, a parody we can tell of his father's phrase. Inside we see his dark room. Piles of books are stacked along the wall. The place is very dingy and gloomy.
I thought I told people to
Keep out, the young Victor said. He's a gloomy, typical emo 15-year-old teenager. We let ourselves in. Get out of my room, Victor said. You can't just let yourselves in here as you like. When we showed no intention of leaving, he opened up one of his books and pointed at Gouda and tried to cast fear on her. It failed. She rushed over to him and snatched the book out of his hands. Hey, give that back!
No, that's what you get for trying to cast magic, she said. Magic is for adults. Give it back, that's my book,
he said, trying to wrestle it back. She pinched his cheek.
Ow, 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 ow.
Gouda, calm down, I say, pulling them apart. But she's right, we do have to talk to you. I don't care, Victor whined. Get out of here. No, I said. Right now, we need to know about Stella and about Irina. First off, Stella. We just talked to Fiona, her mother. Apparently, she was set to wed you, correct? But something happened to her. Now she thinks she's a cat. Do you know what happened to her? It was just an accident, he said. I don't want to talk about it. Victor retreated to the corner of his room. Well, too bad. You have to, I said, because right now there's someone out there who's suffering from something that you did. And the only way we're going to get to the bottom of it is if you tell us what happened. He sighs. He looks around. I've been working on something I'd rather keep secret if I could. Victor unfurls a paper. On it are several runes and circles.
That's a teleportation circle,
Gouda said.
It's been slow, I don't actually have the spell, but I do have some notes, and I've been studying how to write it down.
She whacked him across the face.
Ow, what was that for? Practicing magic? You're too young for this. I need it to get out of here, to get out of Barovia.
Why?
It sucks here. Everything is terrible, he said. I can't even go outside.
What do you mean?
My father has been keeping me locked up in here ever since I can remember. I snuck out a few times. That's how I found the cat.
He said,
I want to use the teleportation circle to get away, as far away from here as possible. But Stella, she stepped into the circle, and the cat was there at the same time, and the circle wasn't properly written, and she wasn't even supposed to be there. I told her not to, and she didn't listen to me. Now she's like that, and there's nothing I can do to help her. I can't help her. I can't help you. I can't even help myself. I have to study.
He seemed like he was on the verge of tears. He opened up a book and pretended to be reading.
I need magic. That's what I need to solve my problems.
This magic is dangerous, I say. If you screw up the spell, you could get hurt or even die.
I don't see why it matters, Victor said. If doing nothing means staying up here the rest of my life, trapped in this attic, I don't care. If those are my options, then maybe it's better. I'm getting out of here, one way or another.
As he's working, slinking around the room is a skeletal cat.
Ew,
Gouda says, and goes to destroy it, preparing to fire one of her eye beams at it.
No!
He snatches up his cat.
You've been practicing necromancy?
Gouda yelled at him.
That's a big boy magic. I needed practice, he said. Besides, she's my cat. She's all I have.
Gouda, stop trying to kill his cat, I say. Anyway, we also have another problem. Irina. She's supposed to marry you soon. Did you hear about this?
No, he said. This is the first time I heard of it.
Can you talk to your dad and see if you can say no to him and get him to call it off? He rolled his eyes.
I can't. He never listens to me. Once he decides something, there's no changing him. If he's decided that Irina and I are to wed,
he just shrugs.
I wouldn't be here if I could convince him what to do.
Thanks for talking to us, I said.
Didn't have a choice.
He turned back to his workbench. It definitely helped us figure out what's happening with Stella. We're going to fix her problem now that we know what it is. And don't worry, we're going to get you out of here.
Yeah, whatever,
Victor said, still not looking up.
Can you get my spellbook back? No,
Gouda said.
You can have it back when you're a big boy,
Gouda suggested.
Guess you could say he needs to book it on out of here.
He growled. Just go. As we left him in his room, he was at his desk working. In the background was the clatter of footsteps from other people in the town wandering on their daily business. I couldn't imagine what it did to a mind to be in that attic day after day, listening to the people outside and looking down at the streets from the slatted windows. He truly was a very troubled young man. The DM tells us, now that you guys know how Stella got cursed from his failed magical experiment, you now know that one of the ways to fix it is to use a greater restoration spell on it. You have heard tales of a man in Abbey in Krusk who has that kind of magic. Well, I say, I guess we have another location to add to the list. Opens up the file folder, makes a new entry for new locations we have to explore, puts it in the file thing, closes it back up. Once we leave Victor, we realize that there's no point talking to the Baron Vlakovich. It's not going to help at all. So instead, we decide to see if we can just slip Irina out of there. We try to leave the house with her, but as we're moving to the door, we're blocked off.
Where do you think you are going?
Standing between us and the exit is Izak, the head guard with a fiendish, mutated arm.
The burgomaster said we are free to leave,
Krusk said.
He did, Izak said. You may leave, but her.
He points to Irina.
She stays.
We were just going to step out for a second. We'll be back later.
No, she is not safe to leave this house.
His eyes narrowing at us. Okay, no trouble. Our misunderstanding. We get it. She's got a big day coming up soon. We say goodbye to Irina, and she returns to her room. We leave without her. Okay, remember how we had decided to give Izak the benefit of the doubt and considered, hey, maybe we don't have to kill him. I don't think that's going to work out. If they're holding her hostage, I think we're going to have to go with our backup plan. Murder. We're going to have to take Fiona up on her offer, kill Izak, and get her out. That afternoon, we go to Fiona's.
So, did you think about my offer?
She asked. Yeah, we did. We'll do it.
Excellent,
She said. She tells us the info.
At 11 p.m., he's going to be at this specific street making his rounds.
Got it. We can jump him then. Before the event, we realize, oh, we have something else we need to do. St. Andrew's, they need the bones. Do you think we should chase down the coffin maker and get them back tonight? Not now. We got a lot of stuff on our plate. But if we decide to chase down too many or get beat up or something, it's going to put Fiona's mission at risk. We don't have a great track record with our fights so far. We'll hopefully be able to deal with it maybe the day after tomorrow once the rebellion is over. We start planning out the killing. Before the thing, I realize we need some disguises. I talk to Rictavio and ask him for some costumes. Of course, Rictavio is always prepared. We go to his wagon to get some disguises. As I'm looking for costumes, I approach a crate and try to open it, but then he slams it shut.
No, not there.
Why not? I ask, rolling my eyes.
You can look anywhere, but not there.
What's in the crate?
He's a bad puppet, he says solemnly.
Look, if you're having a problem, let me know. I can help you, I say, opening up my file folder full of other people's problems.
No, it's fine. It's no problem, he says,
and changes the subject to something else. I'm sure there's some really fucked up bullshit in there, and I'd love to track it down, but goddamn, we've got a lot of shit on our plate, and I just cannot deal with it right now. Mental note, that's there. I'm coming back to deal with it later. Opens up the file folder, puts a new entry in there. I get back to the inn, and we wait for the nighttime murder. When it's time, we go to a back alley where he's supposed to arrive, don our disguises, and hide out. We cut over to Izak, who's making the rounds with his guards. There's a light mist passing between several of the buildings. It's a quiet night. He comes down the alley when he notices the Ninja Turtle, Donatello, a gnome in a peacock outfit, a lizard folk with a potato sack over his head, and someone he recognizes. It's just Krusk.
Krusk, you're supposed to be in a disguise.
I'm a paladin. Disguises are for lowlifes.
You're ruining this mission.
We beat up the guards quickly, casting hold person on Izak to paralyze him.
It's a wrong night to take a walk.
Total prison fight. We pull out our shanks and stab him to death. The last thing he hears before he dies is, wow, that went over surprisingly easily. The fight's over quickly, and we have a pile of bodies at our feet. We push them over towards the trash, but it doesn't really help. I pick up some of the bodies and try and throw them into a box, but it's too small, so I try and close the lid, but as blood squirts out. I start to panic. I start kind of throwing stuff on the ground, kind of disguise it, cover it up, but it's actually drawing more attention because now you have a bunch of stuff on the ground.
Let's get out of here.
And we take off, escaping into the night. We remove our disguises and return back to the inn. Why were you guys out so late? The bartender asked. Oh, we had to talk to someone, get info, nothing much. Anyway, the city's pretty quiet. It's usually pretty safe outside. Actually, it's really dangerous. We recommend you don't go out at night. Well, we'll keep that in mind for next time, so we don't go outside. All of us went to bed immediately after that. Garo was kept up, staring at the ceiling. It seemed like no one had followed them. He was half expecting someone to come barging in and demand to know what happened. Maybe bells to ring, signaling an emergency. But nothing came. The group seemed to get off easy. A little too easy, maybe. Tomorrow was supposed to be when the coup was going to occur. Hopefully everything went as planned, but who knows? As Garo eventually fell into a fitful sleep, that was where that session ended.